when you are hosting a big event, you're often so immersed in the details that you can't actually enjoy the night. Well, the founder of Distinct Event Planning, Lucretia Williams, wants you to pass the reins and be a guest at your own event. I'm so happy to welcome in Lucretia for this segment sponsored by Experience Columbus. Good to meet you.
Good to meet you too.
All right, I was reading your bio, of course. You're known as the GOAT of event planning, right? I mean, you come with lots of accolades, hundreds of successful events, but talk about your passion for this, because it takes something very special in you, I'm sure, in people. I could not plan an event if my life depended on it, right? The detail and kind of the amount of attention to detail. Where did that come from for you?
You know what? As a student at Ohio State University, that's why I learned to plan events. And then that was back in 1998. So that was a long, long time ago. And when I came out of it, I'm like, you know, I like this event planning. This is like a real thing, and it makes people happy. So the passion of seeing the smiles and the congratulations, the high fives and the hugs and all the love in the room, that's what garnered my passion to want to do this.
All right, what about being your own boss?
Oh.
Where did that come from?
Well, you know what? Again, back then, event planning to me wasn't necessarily a career. When I graduated college, I didn't have a degree in event planning, right? It was in financial management. But I love the passion of helping so many people. And I said, I'm going to make this a thing. And so we launched the business, and here we are.
And that was during the pandemic, am I right? Like some of that kind of happened during this time?
Yes, it did. It did.
What was that like?
You know what? When the world shut down, obviously in events, everything was shut down.
Yeah.
But we have a hand-holding approach to our event planning with our clients, and we just held their hand throughout the entire process. I believe at the time that we were shut down, we had over 30 events on the books, and we have yet to have a client cancel.
Wow. So that said a lot. Their faith in you was strong enough that they said, yeah, let's get this done.
Yes, we just rocked it out together.
Talk about then the events, Lucretia, that you specialize in, what you do, and kind of how you bring that to life.
Yes, so our number one are conferences. As we know, the world is now back open. A lot of corporations are struggling with having large-scale events. You can't plan events the way you did prior to COVID. You have to look at it a little bit different. And so what we do is, number one, there's two things. We capture the vision of the corporation. What is it that you're trying to do? And then number two, what is the guest experience going to be like? What do we want that to be like? So we plan with the end in mind. We think about the attendee experience and then work our way backwards.
Okay, I like that. That's interesting. All right, so when you talk to about somebody who has turned to a professional, or maybe somebody who hasn't before, when is it that somebody should say, hey, let's look at somebody else to put this together? Because I feel like oftentimes if you hosted one small event, you feel like the next one you could handle and then you get overwhelmed, right?
Absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah, so when does somebody turn to you?
I would say the very thought of even having the conversation of hosting an event, bringing a professional, it's no different than any other professional. Like, I don't like plumbing. So I hire a plumber, right? So when it comes to event planning, we know that a lot of people have planned smaller events, but when it comes to these larger scale events, you definitely want to bring in a professional who has a lot of experience.
I'm looking at some of these photos, and it's not just, these events certainly are beyond, you know, basic. You go so the extra mile, the detail, I mean, the entertainment, everything is just gorgeous. So what is it about kind of weaving that design element into it? Because it isn't just making sure that invitations are here and humans are in seats. Right?
Again, it is about the guest experience. So I would say prior to COVID, you can plan an event and you didn't necessarily have to be concerned about the guest experience, but now you do. People want to feel value and they want to feel appreciated. They want to feel like you put a lot of thought about them into the event planning. So when it comes to the details of it, we want to bring that wow factor. We want to make sure there's good food and that everything's coordinated and the colors are great and people are happy. There's music in the room. So we have to pull all those details together so that people walk away feeling like, that was amazing.
What is it about your team, do you think, that helps build this together? I was just asking you, there's only 5 of you. That's a small team.
It's a small team.
But you guys do these grand scale events to this, you know, to this level. So what is it about your team that makes that possible?
Well, the foundation of it is that we are family. So they're not just employees for me. We are a team, we are a family, and we have one goal in mind, and that's to make sure that we execute the client's event the way that it should be executed. Because in my industry, we don't get to do do-overs. We can't wake up the next day and do it all over again. So we have to get it right. So my team, we have our own wheelhouse that we all operate in. And sometimes we may cross lanes, but we understand that she does this, he does that, I do this, and that's understood. And that's why we're able to execute it at a high level.
All right, if somebody wants to learn more, they want to hire you, they want to get your team's expertise, how do they do that?
They can contact us at distincteventplanning.com or on Instagram at distinctep.
All right, perfect, Lucretia. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you so much.